Hi, everybody. Right off the bat, I want to apologize if the audio quality in this isn't very good. It's very hot out right now, so I needed to turn the fan on. But more to the point, recently, for the very first time, I watched Spirited Away. And I had never seen Spirited Away before in my entire life. There are people who talk about Studio Ghibli films like, oh yeah, I remember watching them as a kid. I didn't even know Studio Ghibli films existed until I was a teenager. Okay, so I have not seen. I only saw Spirited Away yesterday. I watched it for the very first time, and I realized that this film came out in 2001. It's currently 2021. This film is either turned 20 or is about to turn 20, and I figured, wow, pretty good year to choose to watch it for the first time. So I figured, since I have never seen this film before, I would just give my thoughts on it. Um, First of all, I don't really have any complaints, I guess. I My complaints are so minor and insignificant that like I'm just going to get them out of the way right now cuz they're so unimportant. Basically my complaints are I felt the beginning was perhaps a little too slow and maybe could have trimmed down just a few of the scenes near the beginning to make things go a bit quicker. And I also felt, oh, by the way, spoilers for Spirited Away. I'm spoiling the whole thing. I don't care. You've been warned. You can click off now. Anyway, and my other complaint is that the whole revelation of Haku being like the water spirit that Sen fell into as like a child. I felt like that came very much out of nowhere. There were some hints foreshadowing it, but it was very out of nowhere. I felt in terms of uh, it just sort of happens, and she explains the whole thing, and it's just like okay then, I guess. Um, so I felt that could have been handled better. Other than that, I very much enjoyed the film. This film is so just it's so absolutely engrossing. Like I was engrossed in it the entire time. It shows you you get pulled into this world. You get pulled in, and so much of that is not only the direction and the world itself and all the characters, but also the animation and the detail of the environments. It's Studio Ghibli, it's Hayao Miyazaki. Of course, they're going to do an incredible job. And by the time the film was over, I was so sad. I was so sad because I it was like, oh, we have to leave this world now. This like it just pulled me right in, and it kept me there the whole time. And I started this film. I thought I watched it with someone else who isn't really a big fan. Well, not who doesn't really watch anime or anything like that. So I watched it with someone else, and we were like, okay, maybe we'll pause at some point to go get a snack or something. And we just watched the entire thing straight through. We did not pause once. We just watched the whole 2 hours and 5 minutes. We sat there, we watched the whole thing because we were that absorbed in the movie. Neither of us spoke at all, like basically at all. We were just so pulled into this world with these characters and all that. And where was I going with this? I was going somewhere, but this is what happens when you do a video unscripted. Um, so yeah, and it's so interesting because just like Hayao Miyazaki has such a talent for making things which under any other director would feel like pointless. He has such talent for making them feel entertaining in and of themselves. Like that whole sequence where like basically which is basically Sen's first day working at the bathhouse. That whole sequence where like the sludge demon comes in and like that whole and like having to clean it off, and like under so many other directors that would just come off as so boring, but he like Hayao Miyazaki, he makes it so entertaining. Just I can't even describe how he does it, but he just does. And the characters, like I love the uh there's just like it's that typical like sort of um there's a bit of moral ambiguity here, but I actually felt like okay. Side note: we're doing a sidetrack here. Um, so Princess Mononoke, which I have watched before, uh, I like that film a lot. My major complaint with it, like everyone always says, what's the name of the woman in that movie? Oh no, people are gonna kill me in the comments. Um, I'll put a picture up of her on screen. So character I am showing, Lady Eboshi. Oh my goodness, I remembered it. I'm so happy. Lady Eboshi. Anyway, if I got that wrong, I don't know. Okay. There's a picture up on screen so you know what I'm talking about. Lady Eboshi. Everyone always talks about, oh, you know, she's morally ambiguous. You know, she has these bad parts to her, but also these good parts, and so it's a bit complicated. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, obviously she does have like more moral complexity to her. She's not just a straightforward villain, but by the end of that film, I'm like, nothing has changed here. This is like, I have no reason to believe things will not repeat themselves exactly as they just did. I don't feel like we've changed, really. I mean, we've changed, but I don't know how much, like, I don't trust this woman to actually move forward and be different by the end of that film when she survives. And with this, there's a very similar sort of possibility for something like that with Lady Baba and all that. But I felt like it was handled much better here, because even though we leave and, you know, she's technically an antagonistic character and she's still in charge of this facility, I didn't feel like it was, like there was like I felt like things had improved and I was satisfied with the way things panned out. Whereas Princess Mononoke's ending, it's not very satisfying, but this ending I was happy with. Mainly because she's more of a character who's a boss and in charge, and even though she's intimidating and she has this control over these people, at the same time there's, like, you know, Haku getting his real name back, there's a glimmer of hope. And we know she has her sister, so there's sort of a balance in the world itself in terms of good and evil, I suppose you could say. And, you know, the baby as well, the baby is learned and changed. So you have all these elements which made me much more happier with the ending in this than I was with Princess Mononoke. Even though I do want to clarify, I do like Princess Mononoke a lot, okay? This isn't me saying I don't like Princess Mononoke. I do like Princess Mononoke. But I liked, in this particular aspect, I liked Spirited Away much more. And yeah, that's I thought it was just fantastic. I can't emphasize how much I just was engrossed in. I felt like by the end of the film, I felt like I had gone on a journey. Just because, like, the film has that effect, and it had been so long since I had watched a film like this where I felt like I had gone on the journey with the characters. Especially when watching at home, since it's not in a theater. In a theater, you can get away with a lot more because it's on that big screen and stuff. But at home, if the movie isn't good and it's not grabbing you, then there's no backup there. You know what I mean? But this was fantastic. It was so enrapturing. It was so engrossing. It just, like, you get pulled into the film in a way which is so rare, and the way things just play out, it's just like, it's so loose and laid back in a way, but at the same time, like, I'm certain that, like, Hayao Miyazaki was, like, picking apart every single detail to make it as good as possible. Like, it was fantastic. And this is coming from someone who has heard about how this is the most amazing masterpiece in the entire universe for years now. And I've never seen it. My first time seeing it just last night, but I thought it was really great. I absolutely loved it. I don't know if I would rank it among my favorite films, just because it takes a while for a film to climb up into my favorites, but this was absolutely just a pleasure. And, like, it, again, not an absolutely 100% perfect film, because no film can be. As I said, it's just a bit slow at the beginning. There's some elements which I felt like, like, I really wish I could have just spent more time in this world. I wish they could have had, like, a longer movie and expanded on every single detail, because I would have just loved to spend more time in the film, because I felt like I was there, you know what I mean? It really had that effect. It was so good. But yeah, watched it for the first time. Oh, and by the way, the person who I watched it with, after we finished it, I said, you know, this movie is 20 years old. It's turning 20 years old this year. and they were like, "What?" like the animation still looks absolutely incredible. A bit of CGI with environmental stuff, but like honestly, I watched Weathering with You, and the CGI in the environments here are much less noticeable than in Weathering with You, which came out just 2 years ago. So yeah, it holds up incredibly well. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it before, then definitely go watch it. If you have seen it before, but maybe it's been a while, then go revisit it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like or dislike, and please leave your thoughts on Spirited Away down in the comments below. Did you know it was the 20th anniversary of this film? Sometime this year, I don't know when. Yeah, feel free to, I cannot talk. Feel free to subscribe as well. I do a lot of media reviews and whatnot, so if you enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy those. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and have a lovely day.